Time to perk up. Time to get freaking real. I'm talking about getting a leg pump. None of this fancy schmancy 6-plate squats on the Smith machine or 12-plate leg press, whatever. I'm talking leg extensions, leg curls, some cable RDLs, much lighter squeezing work. And in the process, I'm trying to achieve two things. One, pump up my legs as much as possible, and there is going to be some adductor work as well that's going to get kind of thrown in at the end. A little more accessory style. I almost feel like it doesn't, having pumped up adductors will add like a little bit of thickness to your legs for sure, looking at them pumped up, but not to the point that I really, feel like I need to get myself amped, like, all right, 5 more sets and then I can check my adductor pump. It's not really a thought that crosses my mind as often. But hamstrings first, quads second, pose down, come back up to the weight room, finish some adductors, do some calves, and then head back home. Currently 5 o'clock, 16 minutes, and I've currently consumed, I'm not going to pull it up, but like 1,100 or so calories. So a little on the lower end fuel-wise, which may come into effect my energy levels during the lift, but in the overarching scheme of staying under my calorie deficit for the entire day, I consider that a W, because now I get a pretty substantial post-workout meal and pre-bed meal, which will let me go to bed feeling full and still hitting my kind of calorie deficit goal in the end of the day, which is basically priority number one. Like right now, the diet side of things, making sure I don't overeat, that is the number one factor which is deciding whether I get leaner or stay the same body fat that I am currently. Right? There's no special superset or combination move, upright, left, leg extension, leg curl, squat that is suddenly going to induce body fat burning. Right? It's simply not the case. Very slow, and it's a low and slow, just making sure that you're eating less food than you're burning kind of situation. But I think there's nothing else to do but actually get started. This should be a reasonably quick one, so I think I'll answer a couple of sporadic comments for the little post-workout sort of chat. But I think no more teasing it. Let's just make this leg day happen. Let's start with some reasonably heavy seated curls. Now, they're light enough that I'll still be able to get a really good squeeze and hold at the bottom, and then burn out with some nasty partials at the end. Okay. Oh my goodness. I think 2 more here. Then tell me to move on to some leg curls next. Okay. One more. Oh my goodness. I lied. One more like that. A little quicker instead of the slow and squeezing approach. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. Honestly, if the first set of laying curls feels extra good, that could be it. And hamstrings are already pretty thrashed. But how about we just wait and see before we start making any judgment calls like that. And it opened up just in freaking time. One more like that, that'll be it. Holy crap. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hamstrings are wrecked. Let's get quads started. Yeesh. So this is going to serve as both working set number one and as a bit of a warm up. Because right now my knees are kind of cold. So if I wanted to do a really heavy set, like 170 with one leg, which frankly there's not even much point in me doing right now, I'd have to sit here, do 100 pounds for a couple, give it a minute, 120, 140, 160, ease my way up. Or I could start with a lighter squeezing set, and then it'll go through the process of warming up my knees. So as quads progresses, I'll be able to go a little bit heavier, and things will just feel a little more natural. Now, if I were bulking up, that's usually when I'm a little more inclined to warm up completely and start with a heavy, nasty one. But since, the amount of weight I'm throwing around isn't really a huge concern for me, I can start light squeezing. This will be 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 until they're, well, not like reach complete muscular failure, but until I know they've got a good starter burn. Because it is kind of a half warm-up-ish set. I go a little heavier, 115. Okay. All right. Let's keep ramping up weight slowly from there, and then decide how to move forward. You know about Annie lifts?
Yeah,
So,
the music. Yeah.
those are going hard right now.
That's bad.
Two more like that. One more. Okay. I think I've got a game plan. 2 more sets, slightly different styles, and as long as I'm fully pumped at the end of them, we can go pose down. All right, so set number 1, I've coined this the Jekyll and Hyde style. So that's where it's a 2-portion set. The only thing that changes is it's a reverse drop set. And my logic is not this is somehow stimulating my fast or slow twitch muscles. It's just a nasty set, and I'm gonna feel it in my quads pretty well. But the basic premise, you pick a light weight at first, 1 second, maybe almost 2-second hold, slow eccentric, hold, slow eccentric. So portion A, or I guess portion A is pre-exhaustion. Then jump the weight up by like double or even a little more if you can handle it, and then burn out with nasty, forceful reps. Now that's within reason, don't hurt yourself, but I do like this, at least for leg extensions. I might not be so inclined to do a set like this with like hamstring curls. You know, I don't want to wrench a ton of weight this way and pull something. And that's coming from experience. Hamstring pulls are no fun. All right, come on. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. That didn't feel too heavy in like a dangerous kind of way, but that might have been a little bit too heavy in terms of my strength. Good set though. Now just one more finisher. Sissy squats will be involved. Holy crap. And that'll be it. Not including some, adductor calf work. Okay, let's go find some lighting. Quads complete. There we go. So legs complete, at least hamstrings and quads. I'm still gonna finish off adductors and calves, but that'll be a little bit of alone time for Mr. Sam. So let's just see how quads and hams are looking pumped up. Now they feel pretty good. Like in terms of how much blood I siphoned into them, based on my kind of given like strength and size level, I feel like I hit them pretty well. But I can kind of tell already, well, actually I can tell already the yoga room is open. Let's switch lighting spots. This looks a bit more right. But yeah, so, like I can tell it was in fact a good pump, but just from being flat and depleted, there's almost not that much fluids to kind of go around, right? Which kind of sucks, of course, but that's just the nature of leanness. The whole goal isn't necessarily making sure every pump is as crazy, like blood flow filling as possible. It's just to make sure it's as crazy as I can kind of muster for my given state, if you can kind of grasp what I'm getting at there. But let's pop a pant sleeve out of here and see how we're looking. There we go. Yeah, I mean, just standing here, pretty reasonable roundness over the back and front. Man, I'm a little bit unlucky. The lighting is not perfectly bodybuilding style, but definitely feeling veiny, definitely feeling grainy, and definitely feeling pretty freaking vascular. Let me try to do a little bit of a breath hold and really get some veins jumping out here. Let's make sure I'm still in focus. Yeah, there we go. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, I would call that a quality leg pump. So now all I gotta do is camp out on the adductor machine, squeeze my legs open and shut a couple of times. Similarly with calves, probably on the machine leg press. And then I'll see you in the car. All right. I've got a sneaking suspicion that I totally messed up the audio of this whole thing by having the aux cord slightly unplugged. Hopefully that's not the case and everything is hunky-dory. But if not, well, what are you gonna do? So, turns out taking that extra sort of loop of lifts off for legs, I think was quite the good move indeed. I can tell I was kind of, not even was, probably still am, definitely building up a bit more leg fatigue. They are a pretty beefy muscle, and if you hit them hard, I mean, they do take some pretty serious damage, plus all the extra seated bike that I've been doing. So, the last leg day, quote unquote, turned into a shoulder day, giving me a little bit of a break to come back to them today a bit stronger. And quads felt pretty good. Like I could tell on the leg extensions, I was able to kind of exert a little bit more oomph with the same amount of weight as normal. But hamstrings were where, yeah, hamstrings were maybe not night and day, but definitely freaking, you know, noon versus dusk for sure. Because I was feeling good on those seated hamstring curls, to the extent where I almost had to limit myself with how much weight I wanted to throw around, because if I really tried to push it like a fool, right, I could have definitely hurt myself. So one thing to be careful of is potentially feeling too good, you know. And let me explain. Right, you walk into the gym, you got a crazy night's rest, you had a crazy good amount of whatever, you're a little bit extra, you got some spunk, you got some pep in your step, maybe you added a scoop and a half instead of a full scoop. Everything's going your way, you're warming up, you're doing some kind of bench with something. Let's say it's a chest day, you're warming up with the one, with one kind of something. And, oh, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. 3 plates feels like nothing. Or 2 plates feels like nothing. All right, let's get real here. Let's do a weight I've never done before. Things are perfect, right? So it's almost like the most dangerous position you can be in is when you have no fear, you know what I'm saying? So don't, try not to get too comfortable throwing some shit around, especially if you're in a deficit. That's when I've tweaked myself. Well, that's not true. I'd say the amount of tweaks that I've given myself over the course of my whole sort of lifting whatever is about 50% bulking up, because I'm extra strong from eating a ton of food and growing, as well as probably 50% dieting down, because I still think I can throw the same, amount of weight around that I was throwing when I was eating hundreds upon hundreds of grams of carbs a day, sleeping all the freaking time, and had a body weight 40 pounds heavier than what I'm currently at, So all that's to say is just keep a cautionary sense with the weights that you're moving around. But that was a good leg day. I was really getting myself amped up to some kind of Attack on Titan theme song edits. A little bit of Annie lifts was going on as well. That guy knows what he's doing when it comes to splicing those little playlists together. And now I've got something waiting for me at home, sitting in a Tupperware container. 2 sort of some kind of sirloin something or others, 0.8 pounds worth. Salt, pepper, convection oven, 350 for about 25 minutes. And that's not an arbitrary amount of time. I got the meat thermometer in there, so as soon as it hit an internal of 122, immediately pull it, throw it into the fridge, or throw it into a little container to kind of rest a touch, then throw it in the fridge. So those are waiting for me. So I made about 1.5 pounds worth of those, had 2 cuts earlier, and now I get to have the other 2 cuts later. And I haven't really been throwing it down for a sear, just because, I'm not going to use oil, the amount of calories that I'm gonna add to that lean ass protein by slapping some avocado oil onto a skillet or something to actually give it a reasonable sear, it's just not worth it to me, and frankly I don't mind just the kind of sort of oven roasted sort of taste of it too. I don't need a crazy gooky chef's crust on these steaks. But that's the plan for post workout, and I think that's all I got, man. I'm drawing a blank. I'm running on low blood sugar. I need like one of those diabetic readers to alert me on what my levels are at, because with the amount of food I've eaten today, I'm definitely in the low, well, not low like dangerously low, but low like relative to kind of normal fed levels, right? So I'm ready to slam that, cozy up, pass out, and then get ready for what I hope to be my freakiest chest day yet tomorrow. So I'm already freaking getting excited about it. But yeah, that's all I got. So make sure you at least think about doing your cardio. And if you have been doing your cardio on a consistent basis, well, guess what? You're part of the in crowd. We know. Every time I bring it up, you get to hear that statement. You get to hear those tips from a slightly different perspective because you've actually lived it. You're not just out here freaking talking the talk. You're actually putting the pedal to the machine. But either way, that's all I got. So I'll see you tomorrow.